This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit.
Hello and welcome to this special interview on NDTV Profit. If you've been looking through the papers, watching television, then you probably know the person we're speaking to. Over the last couple of days, the headlines have been grabbed by one person, Mr. Vaidyanathan, who has moved out of ICICI after 10 years and decided to move from a top management person into the role of an entrepreneur at Future Capital Holdings. Joining us right now to talk about that decision, probably not an easy one, is Mr. Vaidyanathan himself. Sir, thanks so much and heartiest congratulations for starters.
Thank you.
Let me start by asking you, 10 years at ICICI, you've been associated with the brand as closely as anybody else, and you've had such a great relationship with people in your office and the top management team. Must have been an emotional decision?
Yeah, it's a very tough one, but I just decided to take it because obviously the relationships were great and the opportunities were excellent. And really, if it's employment, I don't think it would have made sense because ICICI is a great employer by any standards. I think probably one of the best in the globe. And opportunities were great. And in the senior management position, you get to drive a lot of the company's strategy. So basically, it felt great. But this was different. I just thought that maybe take a stake and do something else.
So it's more about moving into the entrepreneurial function, you're taking a stake, you're becoming co-promoter in some ways. And I guess you're building on the two businesses that you've shaped at ICICI, retail and insurance, and I suspect you'll take those experiences with you. Yes,
in fact, the only draw, or rather the big draw here, was the fact that you get a co-promoter sort of a position. And so therefore you have a stake directly in what you're creating. It also is the fact that maybe some of the businesses are in their infancy. So the creation from infancy again to an adult will have a lot of excitement and joy and so on and so forth about it. So that's about a couple of things that is playing in our mind, yes. And of course the opportunity or the experience of the last many years, which I think I got at ICICI, and will certainly actually be very useful in the new role.
So I'll talk to you a little bit about your future role in a minute, but I want to ask you, you're also leaving Prudential fairly quickly, a year or so, and in that 1 year you've turned the business profitable or so we've heard through media reports. Are you leaving it too soon?
Well, let me put this context of profitability in the right way. It was not that the business was made profitable in 1 year, right? It is actually the back work that has been coming along for, say, maybe 10 years by the predecessors and the management. And it was probably time for the profitability to happen. Of course, some business moves and initiatives and cost cuts certainly help. But the big story is actually the story that is built over a long period of time, right? It was a matter of time, so to say. That is one. Two is that it is also safe to say that the company is extremely strong today, right? And every successor adds his own brand of value, right? And I think that sort of value over the next 4 or 5 years will emerge from the successor who runs this business with his own strategies, his own plans, right? So my sense is that in the end, this will continue to become a stronger company, and I'm sure employees shouldn't really regret it, because as far as the employees are concerned, they are on a great ship. The ship is strong, it is headed in the right direction, and is well placed to handle this new environmental changes. So I should say that it's in safe hands in the future as well.
But the ICICI group, I'm sure, is going to miss one of the people who was sort of key to their core brand right from the start, whether it was in your role as the retail banking head and then ICICI Pru. So for the people you worked at with ICICI, it's probably as emotional as it is for you.
Well, key is probably true to an extent. But the issue is that ICICI is such a large organization, has tremendous leaders. So leaders keep coming up, and frankly, it's mushrooming leaders all the time. So I don't think it will make any difference at all to the institution as such. It will keep growing. And the other thing is that the institution is really very strong. Now the organization is looking extremely well positioned to catch the next growth wave of India. So I won't worry about that too much. I think it's really headed really quite well.